I want to show my process. So few months to come, few years to come, when you see the person I've become, it would not just be the final product. The person I've become is the finished product. But I don't just want you to see the finished product. I want you to see the process it took me through. The messy process, which is beautiful. Hey there, welcome back to another episode of Read Books 2025. So today we are doing the chapter 2 of the book Show Your Work, which is Think Process, Not Product. Again, if you're not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button and the notification button to see more videos like this, so that YouTube does not push this video under. We're going up, Yeah, so think process, not product. Also, if you are wondering why I'm doing what I'm doing, because if you look at some other channels, some other YouTubers, they would rather just give you a list of top 3 books, top 5 books that they've read and it changed their life. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to instead walk you through the process step by step. I'm going to read every single word. Okay, maybe not every single word in the book, and then I'll give a personal explanation at times. So yeah, welcome back once again, and the video begins. Think process, not product. Think people behind the scenes. A lot of people are so used to just seeing the outcome of work, they never see the side of the work you go through to produce the outcome. When a painter talks about her work, she could be talking about 2 different things. There is the artwork, the finished piece framed and hung on a gallery wall, and there is the artwork, all the day-to-day stuff that goes on behind the scenes in a studio. Looking for inspiration, getting an idea, applying oil on a canvas. There is painting the now, and there is painting the verb. As in all kinds of work, there is a distinction between the painter's process and the product of her process. Traditionally, the artist has been trained to regard a creative process as something she should keep to herself. This way of thinking is articulated by David Bayes and Ted Holland in their book Art and Feel. To all viewers, for yourself, what matters is the product, the finished artwork. To you and you alone, what matters is the process, the experience of shaping the artwork. An artist is supposed to toil in secrecy, keeping her ideas and her work under lock and key, waiting until she has a magnificent product to show for herself before she tries to connect with an audience. The private details of art making are utterly uninteresting to audiences, writes Bayes and Holland. Okay, this reminds me of when I saw an artwork on YouTube. It was a woman who painted a horse, a beautiful white horse, with some sirens around. There was some splash of water. The horse was obviously running beside a river or a sea. So it was a beautiful artwork. And she disclosed the behind the scenes of her work. She said it took her a whole 80 hours to draw and finish the painting. 80 hours. If you are to divide that by number of days, that's about 4 days in total. She definitely didn't do it in 4 days straight up. Definitely she would take some breaks in between. So it took her definitely more than 4 days. But in actual sense, if we divide it, it's 4 whole days of straight up working. That's what it took her. If you're an audience, do you think you are able to wait for 80 hours before you can see the finished product? So this was what brought up the traditional way of thinking, that everybody concluded that your audience do not need to see your behind the scenes. All they needed to see is your final artwork. But this is no longer valid. You see, there is a better way of building up an audience. There's a better way of gathering up people who are interested in what you do. And that way is to show your work, show the behind the scenes. Do not continue to claim that the behind the scenes of your work is uninteresting. There is an aspect of your work that is still beautiful for people to see, and you need to leverage on that. So how does that apply to you? If you are looking to be a YouTuber, you can show the behind the scenes of shooting your video. Okay, if you have nothing to do with art or creativity. So how does that apply to you? By the way, the knock you had on the door just now frustrated me. But upon getting there, I realized it was a cute little girl. So she's forgiven. Yeah, so how does that apply to you? So look at yourself currently and ask yourself the question, what is your profession? Or what are your hobbies? So look at them. What is your job that you want to show your work in? If you feel your work is so boring, or you don't even have interest in the work you do, so you don't want to even create content of your work, then it's fine. Look at your hobbies and find the interesting aspect of your hobbies and show the behind the scenes of it. Maybe you like hunting animals, you like hunting as a game. Instead of just showing people your prey, showing people the reward of your hunting, why don't you show people how you make your bow and arrows, how you sharpen your arrows, how you if it's a gun you use, how you prepare your instrument before going there, the parts you take, how you decide the particular animal you want to hunt. So these are things you need to look into more if you want to really grow an audience. You don't need to wait till the final and finished product. Life is so uncertain, you never know what might happen. You need to start showing your work from day one. Show the behind the scenes of your work. Alright, so we have an image here. The work is all that has happened in the day. It is a process, not a thing. So all of this made sense in a digital age. Imagine those writers back then. They didn't really have a way per se to connect to their audiences. They needed to finish the novel, finished everything, edited it till the final product before they could now print them out and take them to markets, whether New York, and take them to wherever they want to sell them. That's the only way, actually, to connect with their audiences. They didn't have any other way. There was no way they could just maybe pick the first paragraph of their chapter 1 and post it online and ask people what they think about the chapter 1 of the book, if they should give it a try, if they should still continue, or if they should quit writing the book. There was nothing like that. But now, there are social media platforms, there are different platforms, there are different ways for you to connect with your audience. So you should not be waiting till the final product before you grow your audience. Grow your audience from what you are doing currently. Now we have another image here. Process is messy. And that's actually true. The process is very, very messy. It is the final product that is beautiful. Jane Simley said something like that. She said every first draft is perfect in the sense that all it had to do was just to exist. The first draft in a write-up is perfect because its only role is just to exist. It doesn't need to be good, it just needs to exist. Because you cannot edit no work. You cannot edit what you have not written. You can only edit what you have written, however rough it might be. That's how it is with creativity. Just show the behind the scenes of your work. Everything has to do. Your behind the scenes just has to exist. Its perfection lies in its existence. I don't know if that makes sense to you. So just show the behind the scenes of your work. No matter how ugly it is, its existence is beautiful in itself. But human beings are interested in other human beings. And what other human beings do? People really do want to see how the sausage gets made. That is how designer Dan Provost and Tom Gethard put it in their book on entrepreneurship. It will be exhilarating. By putting things out there consistently, you can form a relationship with your customers. It allows them to see the person behind the product. Audiences not only want to stumble across great work, but they too long to be creative and part of the creative process. By letting go of our egos and sharing our process, we allow for the possibility of people being an ongoing connection with us and our work, which helps us move more of our product. And if you think about it, that's actually what I'm doing by making this kind of videos. Apart from the fact that I really want you to grow and evolve your mind, another good reason why I'm doing what I'm doing is that I want this knowledge to sink into myself. I myself want to grow and transform. So this is a way of me engaging active learning. So the second thing is that I'm trying to show my work. Instead of just going into my cubicle, going into my room and reading these books by myself and growing. I've read this book actually, yes, I've read this book before. But instead of me just staying away and reading this book in secret, I really want to teach out what I've learned from this book. I want to show my process. So few months to come, few years to come, when you see the person I've become, it would not just be the final product. The person I've become is the finished product. But I don't just want you to see the finished product. I want you to see the process it took me through. The messy process, which is beautiful. Become a documentarian of what you do. In order for connection to happen, we have to allow ourselves to be seen. Really seen. In 2013, the internet fell in love with astronaut Chris Hadfield, commander of the International Space Station. 3 years earlier, Hadfield and his family were sitting around the dining table, trying to figure out ways to generate interest for the Canadian Space Agency, which, like many space programs, faced major budget cuts and needed more public support. Dad wanted a way to help people connect with the real side of what an astronaut's life is, said Hadfield's son, Evan. Not just the glamour and science, but also the day-to-day activities. Commander Hadfield wanted to show his work. Things fell into place when his sons explained social media to him and got him set up on Twitter and other social networks. During his next 5 months mission, while performing all his regular astronautical duties, he tweeted, answered questions from his followers, posted pictures he had taken of Earth, recorded music, and filmed YouTube videos of himself, clipping his nails, brushing his teeth, sleeping, and even performing maintenance on the space station. Millions of people ate it all up, including my agent, Ted, who tweeted, "Wouldn't normally watch live video of a couple of guys doing plumbing repair. but it's in space. So that's what this man actually applied in his life, Commander Hatfield. It is pretty explanatory actually. He was an astronaut, and the astronaut industry at that time, 2013, was facing a major problem. They were facing financial problems amidst other problems. So the way he quickened himself and was able to generate attention and cash and public support was that he started showing his work. So he tossed aside the traditional way of doing things, just showing the astronauts launching for space on television. That's just the traditional way of doing things. He neglected that way, and he started making videos of maintenance on space, doing regular stuff on space, showing people what it means, what it feels like to actually fly a rocket into space or launch a rocket into space. Now, let's face it, we are not all artists, we are not all astronauts. A lot of us go about our work and feel like we have nothing to show for it at the end of the day. But whatever the nature of your work, there is an art to what you do, and there are people who would be interested in that art if only you presented it to them in the right way. In fact, sharing your process might actually be most valuable if the products of your work aren't easily shared, if you are still in the apprentice stage of your work, or if you can't just slap up a portfolio and call it a day, or if your process doesn't necessarily lead to tangible finished products. So these are just categories of people who sharing their work will benefit the most. It will benefit every one of us. But imagine that you are in the process of making a project that someone has not done before, something you don't know whether it will result into a successful finished product or not. It makes perfect sense for you to show your work, because in actual sense, you might not end up with a finished product. So don't waste your efforts and just show your work. So at the end of it, or if you did not end up with a finished product, you still have your process to show for it. Always show your process. You would have your process to show for it, even if your finished product was not finally successful. So how can you show your work even when you have nothing to show? The first step is to scope up the scraps and the residue of your process and shape them into some interesting bit of media that you can share. You have to turn the invisible into something other people can see. You have to make stuff, said journalist David Cow when he was asked if he had any advice for students. No one is going to give a damn about your resume. They want to see what you have made with your own little fingers. Become a documentarian of what you do. Start a work journal, write your thoughts down in a notebook, or speak them into an audio recorder. Take a scrapbook, take a lot of photographs of your work at different stages in your process. Shoot videos of you working. This isn't about making art. It's about simply keeping track of what's going on around you. So by keeping track of what's going on around you, you will be able to start realizing interesting things about your work that you can show to people. And that's how you actually show your work. That's how you show your process. Take advantage of all the cheap, easy tools at your disposal. These days, most of us carry a fully functional multimedia studio around in our smartphones. Whether you share it or not, documenting and recording your process as you go along has its own rewards. You will start to see the work you're doing more clearly and feel like you're making progress. And when you're ready to share, you will have a surplus of material to choose from. So these are a couple of things you could do: research, reference, drawings, plans, sketches, interviews, audio, photographs, video, pinboards, journals, drafts, prototypes, demos, diagrams, notes, inspirations, scrapbooks, stories, collections. That's pretty much it. That's the end of chapter 2. And it's an amazing read. Don't you agree? So as usual, I'll place a link in the description below to the book we are reading, which is Show Your Work. I know you can download it online by yourself, but if you use the link in the description below, you would be able to sign up to my recently started newsletters. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching so far, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.